Should you lease a car just because the monthly payments are cheaper than financing it? The simple answer is no, but if you want, stick around and you will see that the biggest enemy of leasing a car is a calculator. What is up, bubs? Welcome to the basic concept. If you find this info useful, hit the like button. YouTube loves it when you do that. So do I, since it helps my channel grow. Before we get into the breakdown of leasing versus buying or financing, let me clarify that this is my opinion, not an advice on what you should do with your finances. So let's start with the basics behind getting a car with financing versus leasing. Financing is very simple. You basically finance the vehicle over several years to make the payments cheaper and affordable. In turn, you do pay the lender an interest rate on the money you borrowed. It's usually in an APR format. I'm not going to go too deep on APR since I've already detailed this out in my mortgage video. You can check that out if you want a more refresher. It's going to be in the description below. Anyways, after your loan term is over, you own the car. Car leasing, on the other hand, is a bit different. You are taking the car for a lesser payment per month and probably even a lesser down payment as well for usually 3-year term. During this time, you are limited to how much you can use your car. And after the 3 years, you either return the vehicle or are given an option to purchase it. In short, leasing is kind of similar to renting. For the rest of the videos, to make this thing easier, I'm going to assume that the people watching this have good credit rating. Reason being is I want to be fair when I'm comparing, and usually those ads that you see for leasing and buying are just there to draw you in. Once you get to the dealership, they use psychology to undervalue you or your trade-in so you don't fight back. For example, when you go in to trade your car, they evaluate it in front of you, intentionally to devalue your car in your mind. They do that by pointing or touching cracks, peels, scratches, and dents on your trade-in. They do something similar with your credit report as well. Anyways, that's a completely different topic. Let's take a look at identical cars so we can make an informed and accurate decision when getting a new car. So we're on Toyota.com. We're just going to choose this 2020 Toyota Camry. When it comes to buying versus leasing, the argument that people usually bring up here is that the monthly payments on lease is much cheaper than buying. Yes, in short term that is true. But what happens when the 3 years are up? Well, on a lease, you start that cycle over again for another 3 years, and essentially the car payment never goes away. In a loan, however, the loan is eventually paid off and you own the car. No more monthly payments, and you can reduce your insurance to even save more money. You have to understand that dealerships make the majority of their profits in financing and leasing. Think about it for a second. If they bought a car from the manufacturer for $25,000, why would they give it to people for $300 a month without making sure that the deal would be profitable to them? So for that reason, the biggest enemy of leasing a car is always going to be a calculator. Let me explain further with some math. Say if you're buying a brand new car, the average lifespan of a new car in the US is between 8 and 15 years, depending on how well the car was made initially and how well it's being maintained. But that's a pretty broad range, so we can use a 12-year as a median lifespan, which, by the way, on a lease wouldn't matter since you're getting a new car every 3 years. So let's do the math on the Toyota Camry 2020 edition that we picked out earlier. Just to make it easier, we're going to avoid all these options that are up here. We're mainly going to focus on the actual bottom line. No down payment, no other promotions, just straight up car. $335 a month on lease and $428 a month on financing for 6 years. By the way, the lease was 3 years. $335 a month for 12 years, plus the cost of re-signing up lease every time you do that, versus buying was $428 a month for 6 years. The final number is $48,250 for leasing and $30,816 for buying. Difference of roughly $18,000 more when leasing and no underlying value, versus a little more expensive per month for buying, but the car is yours after 6 years. So after the 6 years, if you started investing the $335 per month you would have been paying for leasing, you would have accumulated a little over $30,000 by investing in an S&P 500 fund. So basically, you struggle for a bit, but get rewarded for being disciplined when you finance a new car versus struggling indefinitely with constant car payment by leasing. Not to mention the insurance costs for full coverage, because when you lease a car, you have to have full coverage the entire time. So, to sum it up, here's my final thoughts. Definitely don't lease the car, but don't finance it either. As soon as you drive a brand new car off the lot, you instantly lose almost all the value that you paid for. Instead, what you should do is let someone else take the hit. Buy a used one, like maybe a year or two old. At this point, the instant devaluation is already done to the first owner. And now, when you finance the same car, you are saving approximately 25% of the total cost, going from $24,000 down to $18,000. It's a pretty good deal. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below, or you can leave it a like rating below as well. Subscribe for more videos on personal finance and money. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.